Good morning. Today we look at three more Psalms, 54, 5, and 6. And these Psalms are all, again, prayers to God, prayers for deliverance, prayers for protection. Psalm 54 especially is this group of people, this city or whatever it was, had sent word to King Saul that David was residing with them. And David's plea, save me, O God, by your name, vindicate me, hear my prayer, give your ear again to the words of my mouth. And you know, this is what we want in our prayers as well. We want God to hear us, to lend ear. And he says, the insolent have risen against me, the ruthless seek my life. You do not set God before them. And so it's, people that are looking out for themselves, people that are ready to turn him in, people that are kind of ruffians and, not the kind of people that you really want to be hanging out with. But again, that faith in God. Surely the Lord God is my helper, the upholder of my life. He will repay my enemies for their evil. And in your faithfulness, then again, prayer to God, put an end to them. And then it simply ends with, I will give a free will offering. I will give thanks and praise to you, for you have delivered me and looked with triumph upon my enemies. And so again, it's, that absolute trust in God and somewhat disgust with people with the people, with, the way that we as people can be. And especially, and we're going to see in the next psalm where David just he says, it's not my enemies, it's those people that I trusted. It's someone that I know and love and trust. And that's, especially in verse 13 of Psalm 55, it's you, my equal, my companion, my familiar friend. And again, we have that same thing happen to us, our familiar friend, or, someone even within our family, turns against us or says things against us. And it's so hard that way when the people that we know best and we trust best and excuse me, those that we love, can turn against us in so many different ways. And Psalm 55 begins with that again. O Lord, hear my prayer, listen to me, give ear to my prayer, do not hide yourself from me, attend to me, answer me, I am troubled, I need your guidance, I need your help, I need to feel your protection. And it's again, for us, I think it's a realization that we can't do it on our own, that we need that help from God, that we need that leadership and that guidance. And it's not just excuse me, to have God hear our prayer, but for God to reassure us that we are of value and that we have worth in his eyes. He says, I am distraught by the noise of the enemy because of the clamor of the wicked. They bring trouble upon me, and in anger they cherish enmity against me. My heart is with anguish within me. I'm hurt. I'm disappointed. I'm disgusted. I'm lost and afraid. And I say, oh, that I had wings like a dove so I could just fly away to a new place and a new beginning and have safety and, start over. And, excuse me, yeah, I got something going on down there. But how often do we wish that we just had a fresh start, or we could go back in time a little bit? And we know we can't go back in time. We can have a fresh start. Every day is a new fresh start. Every minute can be a fresh start. And I think about someone with an addiction. How every minute is a fresh start. And if you give in to that addiction, or if you fall again from your chosen path, you begin again. And it's a struggle, but we have so many new beginnings and so many new chances, and even with that anguish within us, and that realization or that feeling that we'd like to just disappear from where we are and be able to start again in a new spot where nobody knows me. And it is just kind of the opposite of the show Cheers, you know, to go where everybody knows my name. Sometimes we'd like to be able to go where nobody knows my name, to have that start over. You know, I'd fly away and be at rest. I would flee far away and I would lodge in the wilderness, you know, just to have that new beginning, have all of this behind me and not have to worry about it. I would hurry to find a shelter for myself from the raging wind and the tempest. You know, to separate myself from all the anxieties and from all of the troubles of the world and of life in general. You know, and then it's confused their speech, for I see violence and strife day and night. It goes on. And in verse 12 is where it comes right down to it. It's not my enemies who taunt me. I could bear that. It's not adversaries who deal insolent with me. I could hide from them. But it's you, my equal. Just as I already quoted this verse, it's you, my equal, my friend, my companion, my familiar friend, with whom I kept pleasant company. You know, somebody that you were completely at ease with, and maybe you shared things with, you know, thinking it was in confidence, and they betray that. We've all shared a secret. And this is, don't tell anybody. And what happens? They do. This is King David. You know, my friend, my familiar companion, one that I know and trust and believe in, you know, has walked the other way and has betrayed me. And then the vengeance part. Let death come upon them, O Lord. Let them go down to live in Sheol, for evil is in their homes and in their hearts. And Sheol, I mean, that's, to me, it's another word for hell. It's a place of separation from God. It's not the heaven that we would like to go to, but, you know, this is a hard thing to wish upon someone else, you know, that they would be separated from God, that they would find their eternity in Sheol or in hell that way. And then again, we turn in verse 16 to that faithful trust that he has. But I call upon the Lord, and the Lord will save me. Knowing that, you know, he's safe with God, that God will hear him, that, you know, that everything is there. Evening and morning I utter my complaint and my moan, and he will hear me. He will redeem me unharmed. That certainty that God will protect him that way. And verse 20, my companion laid hands on a friend and violated a covenant with speech smoother than butter and with a heart set on war. So this is, you know, speech smoother than butter. I mean, you know, flattering speech, you know, complimentary, and then, you know, seemingly to be supportive, and then boom, you know, with a heart set on war, with words that were softer than oil, but in fact were drawn swords. And then again, cast your burden on the Lord, and he will save you. You know, so even when your friends, your family, those closest to you seem to desert you, seem to be against you, God is for you. And that's such a promise, you know, that God is for you. And we hear that reiterated again in the next psalm, Psalm 56, verse 9. Though my enemies retreat in the day I call, this I know, that God is with me, that God is for me. And, I mean, when God is for you, who can stand against you? When God is with you, who can come against you and destroy you? And this is just, you know, when we put our faith and our trust in God, you know, King David is saying this is where we need to be. You know, going back to verse 3 of Psalm 56, O Most High, when I'm afraid, I put my trust in you. In God, whose word I praise, in God I trust, I am not afraid. What can flesh do to me? Well, what can flesh do to us? It can betray us. It can do so many things. Our own flesh can betray us as well, but, you know, our friends and those around us can hurt us in so many ways. But as we go on, and I read that verse 9, this I know that God is for me. And then verse 11, in God I trust, I am not afraid. What can a mere mortal do? And we know the pain, the agony, the soreness, the hurt that can be caused by another mere mortal. But the praise and the glory belongs to God, because God will always be with us. God looks upon us with love and grace and mercy, and gives us the ability to go on in the face of things that sometimes seem overwhelming.